My name is Mike and this happened last year when my fiancé and I bought our first starter home together. We were an Asian couple, which is relevant to the story. It was a small two-story house on a quiet suburban street in Georgia. Nothing spectacular, but to us it meant the beginning of our life. The neighbors on our right side were friendly. The neighbor across the street waved, but the one on the left, something was off from the start. The curtains were always shut. We never saw anyone come out. The house looked normal, but somehow dark, like someone lived there, but didn't want anyone to know. One afternoon while carrying groceries in, my fiancé whispered, "Someone's watching." I looked over and saw him and standing half behind his curtain staring straight at us. He didn't wave, didn't move. The moment I made eye contact, he stepped away. Over the next week, we saw him more, always inside, always watching, never speaking. It was unsettling, but we tried to ignore it. The first night, around midnight, I looked out our second floor window and there he was, fully visible, staring into our bedroom. Not halfway hidden, just standing there, still, watching. The moment he saw me see him, he stepped back and vanished. The next morning, he came to our door, smiled, introduced himself as Gordon. He apologized and claimed he accidentally looked into our window. The whole time, that fake smile never left his face. The backyard incident. A week later, my fiancé woke me around 2 a.m. "Someone's in the yard." I looked. A grown man was walking around like he was searching for something. I yelled out the window. He rushed out the gate. I didn't go out there that night. Something about it felt wrong. 2 nights later, same thing. Rustling, movement, the sound of a lock being picked. I yelled I was calling the cops, and the man quickly stepped out of the yard and slammed the gate again. This time I got a clearer look. It looked exactly like Gordon. I confronted him. He laughed, said he was chasing kids who hop fences, but I could see it in his eyes. That hatred, that anger. The dinner he invited us over one Friday, it was uncomfortable from the moment we walked and he was intoxicated. He kept drinking. He made weird comments. I ordered Chinese food. "I know you guys love that." Then later, things turned aggressive, racial, hostile. He began yelling that we didn't belong there. He admitted he was in our yard at night. We left fast. The brick a few nights later at 3 a.m. A brick flew through our window. We filed reports. Police spoke to him. He denied everything. We packed and moved out 2 months after moving in. That house was supposed to be our beginning. Instead, it felt like someone wanted to end us. To this day, I believe if we stayed, you'd hear about us on the news. My name is Noah. This happened late 2021. My fiancée Gabby and I moved to what felt like the perfect neighborhood. The kind of place you raise a family. The neighbors to our right were especially friendly, Daniel and Veronica, a quiet couple in their 30s. They even brought us a welcome cake. But about a month later, everything changed. The arguments. Late one night, around 11, we heard shouting coming from their house. Couldn't see them, just heard yelling. Then Veronica stormed out and drove away. We had never seen them as the type to argue, so it threw us off, but we shrugged it off. Then it happened again that same week, louder, angrier, not our business, so we ignored it. Then Veronica vanished. Her car wasn't there anymore. 4 days, then weeks. Daniel acted extremely weird, avoiding eye contact, talking fast, sweating sometimes. Gabby begged me not to go over there, but curiosity made me knock. He took 3 minutes to open the door. When he did, he looked like he had just run a marathon. Pale, sweaty, smiling too hard. I asked, "Where's Veronica?" "Haven't seen her." He said she left to take care of her sick mom out of state, but the way he said it was off. Then, I heard something. A woman screamed, faint but clear. I froze. Daniel quickly said it was a movie he forgot to pause. But earlier, he said he was working out upstairs. The lies didn't even line up. I told Gabby everything. Then I called the police anonymously. The raid 20 minutes later, sirens, lights everywhere. Paramedics rushed Veronica out on a stretcher. Daniel was put into handcuffs. We later learned he had locked her in the basement for 3 weeks. He stabbed her when she screamed while he answered the door. She died 2 hours later. When they dragged him away, he looked right at me and said, "I know it was you. You'll regret this." The nightmare a few nights later, I woke up. A silhouette stood in my room. As my eyes adjusted, I saw Daniel. He whispered, "I told you you'd regret this." He raised a knife, and I woke up. It was a nightmare, but those were the same words he said that day. I've never forgotten it. We moved afterwards, but I still fear what I can't see behind walls. What people hide behind smiles. My name is Devin. 2 years ago, I rented the left half of an old duplex in Queens, New York. The man on the right side worked nights, so I never saw him. The walls in that place were thin, especially the bedroom wall we shared. The first week was fine. Then I heard something. The voice, a faint, high-pitched voice, like a grown man trying to speak like a child, talking to himself. I brushed it off, but over time, it grew louder, more frequent, more disturbing. The muffled words turned into conversations. Conversations he was having with no one. The knocks, then there came the tapping. 2 knocks, right where my head rested on the wall. It sounded like a finger tapping just inches from my ear. The tapping turned into scratching. Scratching turned into whispering. One night, I pressed my ear to the wall. I heard him whisper, "Don't worry, they can't hear you." I froze in bed. Who was he talking to? The worst night, around 3 a.m., I shot awake. Not from sound, from feeling eyes on me. I looked at the wall. There was a tiny slit near the base where the floorboard met drywall, and in that slit, I saw movement. I swear to God, an eyeball was looking at me through the wall. I jumped out of bed and ran downstairs, then waited for sunrise. Moving out the next morning, I called my landlord and said I needed to break the lease immediately. I didn't care how much it cost. He hesitated and said, "You're not the first one who left." The last guy said he caught the neighbor spying through cracks, through the vents, through the floors. He'd never warned me. That night, I slept at a friend's. The next morning, I got the rest of my stuff out. I never saw my neighbor, never heard his voice again. But the memory that will always haunt me is knowing that there were nights he was inches away, staring at me, through the wall.